All right, let's go on a journey. I mean, way, way back. Before cities, before farming, even before we harnessed fire. We're going to the very beginning of technology to find the one invention that kickstarted everything and, honestly, made us human.
So, what do you think it is? What's the first thing that pops into your head? The wheel, maybe? A spear? Well, the real answer is so much simpler and so much more important. It's the invention that didn't just change our world, it literally created it. And there it is, 3.3 million years ago. I mean, just let that number sink in. That's how old the first stone tools are. This discovery completely upended everything we thought we knew about the dawn of human ingenuity.
Yeah, you heard that right. This wasn't just another invention, it was the first tech revolution. It was like the first pebble dropped into a perfectly still pond. Today, we're going to trace those ripples. We'll look at how the tech itself evolved, what massive problems it solved for our ancestors, and, this is the big one, how it laid the foundation for society as we know it. It all starts here, at a site called Lomekwi 3 in Kenya. For the longest time, we believed that tool-making began with our own genus, Homo, around 2.6 million years ago. But these tools? They're 700,000 years older than that, which means the first inventors? Well, they might not have even been human in the way we used to define it. And this timeline really puts the speed of innovation back then into perspective. Just look at the gaps. From the simple Lomekwian hammer and anvil method, it took 700,000 years to get to Oldowan choppers. Then, almost another million years to develop the beautiful Acheulean hand axe. We're not talking about yearly software updates here. These were huge stretches of time, with knowledge passed down so slowly. And you can see the cognitive leap right here in this chart. The Lomekwian tools, that's basically brute force, smashing things. But with the Oldowan tools, you see a real plan. You strike a rock in a specific way to get a sharp flake you can use for cutting. That's a huge step. And then, the Acheulean hand axe. That required abstract thought. You had to picture the final tool in your mind before you even started. That's the difference between just using a rock and actually designing a tool.
Okay, so what was the point of all this hard work? What's the immediate payoff? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Dinner. This brand new technology unlocked a whole new high-octane menu.
This quote from a Harvard experiment just says it all. The researchers tried to eat raw goat meat using only their teeth, just like our ancestors would have had to. The result? They basically couldn't do it. Our jaws and teeth just aren't built for shearing raw meat and hide. Our ancestors were facing a massive energy crisis.
And here's the solution's impact. That same study estimated that just by slicing meat and pounding tough plants before eating, our ancestors saved, get this, 2.5 million chews every single year. That is a mind-boggling amount of time and, more importantly, energy freed up for other things.
And just like that, the menu totally exploded. With a sharp rock flake, you could slice meat off a big kill. With a heavy hammerstone, you could crack open the bones and get to the marrow inside, which is basically a superfood packed with calories and fat for a hungry brain. Tough plants could be pounded into something edible. An entire world of high-energy food was suddenly available.
Right, so all of those new calories had to go somewhere, and this led to the next major ripple effect. The tool didn't just change the world around them, it started to physically change them, right down to their bones.
And you can see it right here. The connection is undeniable. Our brains are incredibly expensive organs, calorically speaking, and access to all that meat and marrow was like rocket fuel for brain expansion. You see cranial capacity steadily climb from Australopithecus to Homo habilis, the first confirmed toolmaker, and then that huge jump with Homo erectus, the master craftsman. It's a simple, powerful formula. Better tools equal better food, and better food equals bigger brains. And this created an incredible feedback loop. See, to make and use these tools effectively, you need a special kind of hand, one with a powerful, opposable thumb for a precision grip. So the very act of toolmaking drove the evolution of our amazing, dexterous hands, which in turn allowed us to make even more complex tools. The tools shaped the hand, and the hand shaped the tool. So now we've got bigger brains, better hands, and a high-energy diet. Our ancestors were suddenly equipped to solve all sorts of other survival problems. Stone tools were becoming the key to mastering just about any environment. Take something as basic as staying warm. If you want to make clothing from an animal hide, it's a whole process. And guess what? Every single step here requires a stone tool. You need a sharp flake to butcher, a scraper to clean the hide. This wasn't easy. But this technology is what allowed us to survive in colder climates and, eventually, to leave Africa and populate the entire planet.
And they were the original multi-tool, incredibly versatile. The same basic toolkit could help you build a shelter, defend yourself from predators, even help manage fire by striking sparks. And, of course, they were essential for making the next generation of tools, out of wood. It was the absolute foundation of all other technology.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most important ripple. Because this technology didn't just help us survive the world. The very process of making these tools actually helped create our societies. Now, this is the part that I think is just incredible. Making a good stone tool is not obvious. It's not instinct. It's a complex skill that has to be taught by one person and learned by another. In a way, it was humanity's first external hard drive, a method of storing and passing on complex information outside of our own bodies. This is the very beginning of culture.
And think about everything that goes into that teaching process. It requires cooperation, maybe to go get the right kind of stone. It probably led to the first division of labor. Some people were just better at making tools than others. And how do you teach someone a complex physical task? You need to communicate abstract ideas. It's very likely that this need was a major driver in the development of language itself. It's the blueprint for social living.
And as you get to those more advanced Acheulean hand axes, you start to see something else emerge. A lot of them are way more beautiful and symmetrical than they need to be just for cutting. They seem to be more than just tools. They're probably symbols of skill, a status symbol for the maker, maybe even the very first glimmers of art, a sense of beauty for its own sake.
So there you have it. From a simple sharp rock, you get a better diet, which fuels a bigger brain and evolves better hands, which allows us to solve any survival problem, conquer the globe, and build the very foundations of culture, language, and society. It all started there. Which leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Without that first deliberate strike of stone on stone 3.3 million years ago, would any of us even be here today?